Everything on hit and record.
It's going right now. So
Sweet.
we are live. It says it's live, so I'm assuming it's live. Guys, we're gonna give it a few seconds to get going here, see if anybody wants to tune in. I have with me today a new addition to our gym, Miss Nikki Rosenberg. She's going to be our virtual nutrition coach. And so the purpose of today is to kind of get to know her, pick her brain a little bit on how she got into the fitness world, find out what kind of offerings she's going to have for our gym, and basically let y'all see who she is and figure out, how all this is going to go. So, Nikki, thank you for joining us today. We're happy to have you with us. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people, in the gym that are excited about this too. And it looks a little grainy on my end, guys. So I'm sorry if it's if there's a little bit of a lag going on here, but trying something new. So first time for everything here. So so let's dive right in, I guess. We got a couple people watching. So hey to whoever's watching. Let's start with like the basics, like CrossFit. That's what we all do. How did you get into CrossFit?
I started CrossFit. A girlfriend of mine, it was 2017, and she said, there's this thing called the Open. Come do it with me. I said, no, that's okay. I was doing bodybuilding at the time. And she said, no, it's really fun. Come do it with me. And I said, okay. And I went and I did it. And it was like the most fun I'd ever had. Like it was so fun. And then I thought, well, if I can like rank like this without knowing the CrossFit things, maybe I actually want to learn like what a toes to bar is or how to kip. And like they can go upside down and do handstands. That's cool. What if I actually went to a CrossFit gym and got better at this? So I joined the CrossFit and I didn't know any Olympic lifting. So I went to the CrossFit near my house and started doing an Olympic lifting class with her. That was December of that year then, 2017. And met the most amazing coach who like brought me along and told me what to do and how many CrossFit classes a week to do and how many Olympic lifting classes to do. And it's been really fun.
What gym was that, or is
Everything's
that?
not so linear. It's Diablo CrossFit. It's in Pleasant Hill, California. I live in Northern California, and I live just outside San Francisco. So we're about 13 miles by road, but it can be between about 20 minutes and an hour and a half away. Depending on what time of day you go.
Depending on traffic, depending on everybody leaving the town all at once?
It is. Well, you have to time your, you like it so cold here, I'm double vesting. I double vest. You have to time when you go, when traffic is. So everyone commutes into the city and we're out of the city. So you have to time when you go. So if it's like That's midnight, cool. Basically it takes 20 minutes. Yeah.
So for those that don't know, Diablo CrossFit is a very well established gym. So you're lucky to have cut your teeth on such an awesome gym. They've been around since I think 2006.
They're one of the first gyms that I actually didn't do the Open there. I did the Open at the local place, La Miranda CrossFit. And then I went to a couple CrossFit classes there and I was like, this isn't the Open. This isn't what we were doing. Like no one was watching, like
yeah.
I didn't get any like cues on form. I felt like the program was really like, there was no form, rhyme or reason. So Diablo is really, they do progressive programming, which I'm sure that you guys are doing also, but it like you build on a skill for a month and then you build on another skill, and it's similar to bodybuilding. You get better at something and then you try something else and you get better at something because there's so many things in CrossFit.
Right. Cool.
Sorry,
so what got you into the nutrition world?
A number of different things have brought me in at various points of my life. I've been a group fitness instructor since high school, or since college, basically. My mom was a group fitness instructor. Wow. I remember her learning her Jackie Sorensen aerobic dance routines in the kitchen growing up. And when I went to college, I became a water aerobics instructor. And I went to Madison. I went to University of Wisconsin at Madison. I grew up in San Diego and went to Madison. And it was warm and you could wear a bathing suit in the winter because all the pools were inside. And I was like, sign me up. And out there, water aerobics is actually like a fitness endeavor, unlike where I live now, where it's like I'm the wrong demographic for it still. It's
Yeah.
like old
Right.
people and people with injuries, and it's not really athletic at all. But back there, it was an athletic endeavor in the winter. It was just
Interesting.
a way to take off your bunch of vests. Yeah, it was cool. And I started teaching step class, and I taught spin class, and I went to Nepal. I spent a year abroad in Nepal and taught step class there. Actually, I got a job. And when I got back, I was a high school teacher for a while. Here's a very long story. I was a high school teacher for a while and decided I didn't want to do that anymore. So I went back to teaching group fitness. I got a job with 24 Hour Fitness and started teaching turbo kickboxing and obviously and then I started doing bodybuilding while I was teaching group fitness. So I would like do some 4x8 of something and then teach a class. So I like putting on the mic and like everyone listens. And then, so that was kind of like I did that for a while and then started teaching Pilates and yoga. And then I got married and discovered food after I got married. I put on 40 pounds when my husband moved in with me. Pretty impressive,
That'll
man.
happen.
And then
That'll happen.
I mean, just basically from going to regular meal times with him. Like when I was single and lived by myself, I just didn't eat when I wasn't hungry. And when he
Right.
moved in, we had regular meal times together, and he like had bigger portions than I did, and we drank wine together. And like it was, I just had no idea what what had happened.
You know,
So
it's funny
I,
because there's a lot of people that I think can align with that, because one day you turn around and you're like, holy shit, how much weight have I put on? And it's
totally.
really
And
easy
that's
to
happened
do.
to me with 40 pounds a number of times. Yeah. It's easy to do because
Yeah.
you don't even know. Like I wasn't
I can
weighing
tell you
myself
this though.
regularly. And
You mentioned you mentioned wine, so you had this group at attention already. So just so you know.
because I said wine, does everyone drink or not
Yeah.
drink?
You said wine.
You guys get together and drink
We
wine.
got a lot of wine drinkers. So okay, so you put
Um,
on you that was kind of your first wave of weight gain, and that spurred you to drop some weight.
that was actually my second wave of weight gain. The first one was when I went to college,
Ah,
when I went to Madison and there were no vegetables in Wisconsin. And even though I
yeah.
was teaching, I went from a size 8 to a size 14. And I like had a boyfriend who was the same size as that. And like we would stay out late drinking and eat burritos as big as your head. And then I went to Nepal and the food was terrible. And we walked everywhere and biked everywhere and I just lost it. So then I came back and kept it off and then met my husband, got engaged during that 9 months of engagement, basically like move in, maybe it was a year and a half, whatever. So that was a wave of putting weight on. It's a lot of times. It's sort of like, how many times can you do the same thing and not learn from it, right? But I feel like finally
Right.
this time I figured out a way to not gain it back, which is pretty awesome. So the last jump ahead to do you want me to jump ahead or stay back? It's up to you.
No, but this your time. Let's go.
Um, so when we first got married, I discovered healthy eating and I discovered Weston Price. And his whole thing is like soak your grains before you eat them, have a varied diet, eat fish oil. There's alkaline vegetables are more alkaline. You could drink smoothie cleanse. I discovered like like food quality basically. Eat beans, like varied, and my blood sugar got really low. I was super duper healthy, but still heavier than perhaps. I mean, my weight was going down and then I got pregnant. So I don't know exactly where it would have bottomed out with that method, but
Right.
having
Yeah.
one and then I had another child who are now 13 and 10, and it's hard to know, right, what exactly would have happened. But my 10-year-old now, I went back down after the 13-year-old before the 10-year-old, and then the 10-year-old was probably 3 or 5, and it just wasn't coming off again using this same eat what you're eating I was drinking more at the time than in retrospect than at than the first time. But so where was I? Oh, and then I went to the bodybuilding
Eating
gym
and
and I
drinking.
discovered precision nutrition. Discovered precision nutrition
Okay.
when my now 10-year-old was about 3 or 5, and I hired a coach and he taught me all about precision nutrition. And the first intervention he did is the one we're going to do this month, which is 8 cups of vegetables a day. So he did a
Awesome.
couple interventions with me. One was eat every 4 hours. Don't go too long because I don't want you to get too hungry. Every time you eat a vegetable and a protein, and eat 8 cups of vegetables a day. And I lost 40 pounds
Okay.
from the baby with him. And then
Wow.
time went on and I kind of got a little bit heavier, maybe 15, 20 pounds heavier. And I said, what's going on? I don't know. I'm not doing anything different. I'm still eating healthy. And he said, look at your patterns, see what your patterns are. And at that time I switched to CrossFit. So then I started doing CrossFit. I lost about 7 or 10 when I started CrossFit, just from the intensity change and the activity change. I stopped teaching group fitness completely because I wanted to lower my overall volume. But I did know all this stuff from precision nutrition about how to have like a healthier existence, basically. But I wanted to
Yeah.
be a little smaller. I didn't want to be a 10, 12. I wanted to be a 6 or an 8. So a friend of mine said, you really have to try this thing. It's called Stronger You. And I said, what is it? She said, it's just a health thing. Try it. Had she told me it was macro counting, I wouldn't have done it. Had she told me it was a diet, I wouldn't have done it because I thought it was just the weight I needed to be. But I joined and I got a coach and they put me on so little food and I lost tons of weight, got an eating disorder, and started binge eating from having them have me on so little food. Ended up switching programs to one that modulates the food during the week a little bit more. So there's days that are built in with more food, and my overall calorie load is like 800 calories more a day in a losing phase. And in a maintenance phase, it's about 1,000 more calories a day now than I was doing at the lowest. But what I think is most interesting are the interventions of weighing yourself every day so you know if you're stable or not stable. And also looking at what you're eating and tracking before you eat. Not everybody has to do that, but what I do, because I don't want to lose it again. It's super traumatic to lose weight, and I don't want to do it again. So it's a great motivation. I mean, it was nice. It's nice to be lighter because pull-ups are easier, but I didn't want to lose too much because I still want to be able to lift. Like there's a sweet spot between being heavy enough to move weight around and light enough that you can move your body around. And that's the spot
Yeah.
where I want to keep my body. I like
Yeah.
deadlifting, but I think pull-ups
that's
are
really
important.
Yeah, really. Well, it's really important because I mean, every person's going to have their own definition of what that means for them, right? I think that's one thing that needs to be really focused on in this world is that not everybody's looking to be the lightest that they can be or have a six pack. They're just trying to feel good and maybe lose some weight to be able to do handstand push-ups or pull-ups or those kind of things. And I do agree with you on losing weight. Like it's my least favorite thing to do if I have to cut some weight down or something like that. Um, it's so much
I
easier
love
to
knowing it's
just,
temporary though. You can just cut for 8 weeks or 12 weeks,
yeah,
if you
yeah,
actually do it
yeah,
and
for
don't,
sure.
you don't cheat on yourself, right? And just prolong the process.
Yeah.
You don't have to
I
go
think
super low and you can just get it out.
so. To interject slightly on that, I think that's why it's important to have a coach, right? So you have somebody to be accountable for that period of time to be on your ass to stay on it. You know, it's one thing to have been in this long enough to kind of know, okay, I got to tighten my shit up and I have to do 12 weeks and I'm going to be just fine with that on my own, right? Like for myself, I can pull myself in and out of that just fine. It's not fun, whatever, but it does help to have that accountability partner per se. That's why it's fun in groups and those kind of things. But having that coach, I think, is really important. And to note this particular reason why we wanted to have you on board with us is that dedicated piece that we were missing. You know, we wanted to, for those watching or listening, we wanted to be able to fulfill something that, quite honestly, we haven't done a super great job of in the past, and it wasn't very structured. And having somebody that will be in your corner with that and be available all the time, mostly all the time, in terms of being able to start and do all that stuff, I think it's going to be an important piece and a lot of fun for the gym as an introduction to that. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to all of this as well.
I think it's really
what was the program
important when you
talking about?
Sorry, just for one other thing, when you complain about like, hey, I'm hungry, like I'm losing weight, I'm hungry, what is this? It's really important to have a coach be like, it's normal to be hungry. You should be hungry.
Yeah.
Your body is eating less than you're burning. So having a dedicated person to just like bounce that off of is different than you telling your partner, like I've told my husband, like, hey, I'm hungry. And he always says, eat more. That's not exactly what a coach would say. A coach would say, what are your goals right now? What are you working on? Have some water, wait 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Then let me know how you're doing.
I think it's super important for people to know that it's okay to be uncomfortable and okay to be hungry.
Yeah,
like,
it's
not for
CrossFit.
long.
You have to work
You know what I
really
mean?
hard for 4 minutes. It's just 4 minutes. How
Yeah.
bad could it be?
Yeah.
Just totally kidding.
It's just 12 weeks, you know, no big deal. So the
But then the
program you
benefits to
switched
see
out of,
how good it feels,
yeah,
like when you're at your weight that you should be and you get in and out of your car, like it's easier to move around in life. You feel better,
yeah,
like
100%.
more vibrant, more energy in life in general. It's really amazing. Which program did I
Yeah,
switch to or switch away from?
I totally agree with
I
that.
think a little slightly.
The one that you moved out of from Stronger You into
I moved into Eat to Perform. I
Okay.
moved into a program called Eat to Perform, and they changed the calories by day. So they have some lower carb days, some higher carb days. They have a moderate day, and then they have what they call a super day. And then through them, I found working against gravity. I found this, it's interesting because you get so much more of everything. It's interesting to kind of, with the super days are actually what broke me of the eating disorder that I had, because in my head, I can always switch any day to a super day. If I'm having food cravings, in my head, it's a mind game. I can just make this a super day. I'm going to wait 5 minutes, see if this craving is still here, and I'll switch it to a super day if I need to give me an upper bound instead of like all the things. Like once you've broken it, you've broken it. But the super day, you're like, it's okay. You can just change where your days modulate. So they sent me to Working Against Gravity to get a coach certificate. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say for the other reason I think why we're compatible with all of this is we have a lot of the same essentially background in nutrition stuff. Like I love Eat to Perform. It's what really got me good on macro work, but also the flexibility within that diet that allowed me to really kind of up my game.
Yeah, it brought me like we do sugar water at our gym, and it brought me from like this spot to this spot consistently. It was like it was super interesting that I started lifting more and I started performing, like really performing better, actually, like legitimately, like, oh, I just added 10 pounds to my front squat. Like that's a lot. Front squat's not that much. It was like just a matter of time and fueling yourself. And I called it carb cycling when I first started because I tried to put my carbs around my workout. Stronger You did a lot of don't judge the food, eat whatever you want. So I got into this whole phase of like Quest chips for protein, which is like totally against my whole background and all the nutrition and all that background. So what I like about Eat to Perform is their focus on real food and whole food. And so it
Yeah.
goes back to what I learned about the other stuff. Alexis is asking how we feel about intuitive eating. Can I answer that? Do you see that too, Brittany?
100%.
Can I
Yeah.
answer that?
I was hoping she'd hop on here. Yeah.
Um,
Answer any questions. I can't see the questions on my end. So anything you see float through there.
oh, um, she asks, how do you feel about the whole intuitive eating mindset and how that fits into CrossFit? So doing intuitive eating, I've gained 40 pounds like 3 times, basically, is like I think that I need more food, and so I eat it, and then it depends which interpretation of intuitive eating you're doing, because are you doing intuitive eating and weighing yourself? And are you doing and like taking your body measurements? So you have gauges of adjusting, like interpreting what your body's doing, or are you just eating when it feels good and not? And so I think there's a lot of different facets of intuitive eating. I have a friend who was trying to lose weight on Stronger You and kept saying that she would rather do intuitive eating. And she's the same weight now as when she started because she didn't want to have a couple minutes of not feeling comfortable. And she said, my body needs this. So I think intuitive eating would be made better. Like, this whole vegetable thing that I'm going to talk about this month. One of the things about eating more vegetables is the more micronutrients you have in your body, the fewer cravings you have for foods. Because when your body craves sugar, it may be craving the nutrients in vegetables. So you want to eat more food, but what your body really wants is more nutrition. Did that answer your question? Or do you? So I don't love it. In conclusion, I don't love it because I think our bodies lie to us. I think that we need to fuel our workouts. I think there's a line between getting too mired in details, like that it will just stop you from doing anything. So it depends where you want to, how nuanced you want to get. Like I had a bag of protein powder in my cupboard. I found that's 10 protein and 20 carbs, and it's supposed to be a post workout. And I was about to throw it away, and then I was trying to give it to a friend, and I said, when you, oh good, thank you. She wrote yes, thank you. When I was about to throw it away, and I was saying, this protein's great because you want a little burst of carbs and a little burst of protein after the workout, and you want quick digesting carbs right after the workout because then it'll help you stimulate to grow muscle. Then I said, wait a minute, I'm going to keep this protein. I'm going to eat it. I'm not going to give it away. So I'm almost out, and I'm glad because I don't like eating processed food that much. I would rather have an egg and some rice.
Yeah.
But I have noticed on the days that I actually finish the workout, eat it, and then leave the gym, that I have fewer cravings later. So that's an interesting indicator. Like later, I don't want another gigantic bowl of popcorn. So I've noticed maybe it's feeding the little bits of the muscles.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's hard to know the difference and where you stand on it. And you have to have enough carbs left in your day that you're willing to trade 20 carbs as a banana, right? Like, am I willing to not have a banana or like almost a whole bowl of oatmeal later just to have this little thing now? Well, maybe if it's going to cut cravings later, it's worth it.
I think I'm gonna tag on to yours with the intuitive eating thing personally. I think it's a crock of shit. And to that point, like if you're doing high intensity exercise, I think you have to know where your baseline is at. And if you have no idea where your baseline is at, you can't intuitively eat. Like I see, like you said, intuitive eating, I see two different ways where it's like you either eat when you're hungry, don't when you're not. The problem is if you've had too much coffee one day, maybe you're not hungry, or you haven't drinking enough water, maybe you're too hungry, and it's not really intuitive. It's just you're trying to fill a void. And if you don't know, like that's why I like counting calories at some point in your life for an extended period of time, because if you don't know where your baseline of maintenance needs are or exercise needs, you can't follow that pattern. So I'm with you on that 100%.
I also think our food environment is pretty obesogenic. Like if you, it's
Yeah.
hard to be intuitive when there's so much crap around us. I mean,
Hashtag
you
Halloween
really have to be
candy.
vigilant. Oh my God, I'm so excited. We're almost done around here. Sorry, I just cursed. But like, we're, it's my least, I'm so excited about the holiday. I have a 10 and a 13-year-old. I'm so excited about the holiday going into it. And then leading out of the holiday, I'm like, it's really, it's like a whole, it's against like, it really seeds into me deep here. Okay, Shelly asked a question. Any tips on gaining weight for type 1 diabetics who can't take in a ton of carbs? I get about 2,200 calories a day, but it's more fat based, and I'm getting about 1 gram per pound of body weight. Still can't. Are you eating enough protein? Or use this, you're getting about 1 pound of, did you forget the word
One
protein there?
gram
One
per
pound
pound
of
of body
protein
weight.
per body of fat? No way.
One gram of protein per pound of
So the
body
word,
fat. So she weighs
okay.
about 130, 130? Huh? Okay, 130-ish. And then yeah.
Have you ever tried carbs that are more fiber based, like beans? And then that could slow your metabolism down, or like squashes and beans, because then it won't be that quick through your body, like bananas and apples and rice, or adding
Yeah,
or adding
so
like flaxseed meal and chia to things, just like low, like the glycemic
does do
load
that.
of the meal.
Yeah. She does do that. So I'll speak a little bit for her. She's standing right here. She was out getting something from the store a second ago, and I guess asked that question. So she kind of does whenever we have beans in the house for the kids. I think she'll eat a little bit. I think she's very carb averse because depending on the type and the hidden stuff, especially in some of the processed ones, it can really jack with her ability to bolus correctly with insulin. And so, to that point, she does use flaxseed meal and those things like that, but has trouble with carb management in that respect. And I think a lot of that has to do with
The other,
probably hitting a few of the higher glycemic carb options. She eats a lot of berries, which are not that bad, but things like potatoes, white
I
rice,
don't,
that kind of stuff, completely destroy her.
then I wouldn't eat those as carbs. I would find other carb sources. Or every
Yeah, no
time,
doubt.
do you know what I mean? Like I would just choose the carb
Yeah,
sources, and I would even experiment with putting the carbs around the workout. So you can still get the carbs in the day, but they're right before and right after you work out. So you're using them right away
yeah,
and they're not sitting around.
yeah. That'll be a good conversation. That's cool. Does that kind of help? She's nodding her head. Yes.
And
We got any
also I
other
would like
questions?
add avocado to things, like
Oh, she
when you're,
loves
because
she loves
avocado is
avocado.
basically half protein and half carb. So it's so easy to get carbs up without eating rice and potato. It's amazing. Like a whole thing of vegetables is so many more carbs than you think it is. Like I just had this salad that's like red pepper, spinach, what I like, it was, and then there's like all these carbs in it. It makes me, and then all this protein in it. It makes me mad because then
Yeah,
I can't eat as much of like chicken breast because all it had all this other stuff in it. So I think the more colorful and the more fibrous the things are, the less of the spike you get.
that's a great point. I think yeah, you can minimize a little bit of your if it's something you're into your meat consumption by pounding more vegetables because of the protein allotment in those vegetables. I always found when I was doing Eat to Perform and eating more whole foods with that I didn't have to eat as much animal protein doing it because I'd hit my protein levels super quick throughout the day.
I hit him so fast. I'm
What?
constantly limiting my protein, and I get 160 protein a day. That is a lot of protein. I
Yeah,
get
that's
160
and that's
protein a day,
crazy.
and
And
I'm constantly, it's
every
only one serving of chicken breast, you know? It's like,
I think every
that's
female
all, one
watching
serving,
this is
some days
probably like
two.
160. No way.
Yeah, once you
So
start
her,
counting.
her follow up question was, what are some vegetables that are high in protein?
Spinach, broccoli, cauliflower, chard. Um, you listening?
Yeah, she's listening.
Ones that are low in it. Carrots are low in it. Beets are low. I'm trying to think back to my fridge. Cucumbers low. Sugar snap peas are moderate. English peas are moderate. English peas are actually higher, I think, than snap peas.
They have more carbs than
Um,
anything, I think.
I think like
I
peas,
love
the
peas.
legumes. Edamame. Do you guys ever get the frozen edamame and then just pour boiling water over them to defrost them? Those are nice.
Every now
The
and again
kids eat
we
them
do.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
My kids like them. If you get them in the pod and then put salt on them, then they can shuck them right out and they get a little
Yeah.
salt in the mouth and
Delicious.
then.
Okay. Is there any other questions that
But
floated
yeah,
through?
broccoli and spinach are like half and half. They make me super mad. They take all my protein.
Yeah. I love broccoli too. It's my
Questions?
favorite go-to
Um,
green.
um,
Did
I
any
think that
other
nutrition,
questions?
once you can,
Sorry. I think we
nobody
have a
else has
lag.
come in yet. If you can nail your
Okay.
nutrition, then I think you just walk through life like your skin's better. You drink enough water, you're like, skin is better. You have more energy. You can spend that hour at the CrossFit, like actually what you have more energy to do the thing for the 8 minutes or 12 minutes or 18 minutes. And then you get the results all day long.
Yeah.
And then you can recover faster if you refeed your muscles. And then, I mean, like, the harder you train and then you recover from it, the harder you can train the next time. And then you get stronger.
So I think you visually are a testament to that. And so I want everybody to follow what you do on social media as well, because I think you have a very well put together page that shows who you are. So what's your Instagram handle?
It's at Nicole Rosenberg. There's one more question. It's at Nicole Rosenberg, NICO. Should I put it in the comments actually here? If anybody watches
Yeah,
this,
drop it in there.
can I do it?
Drop it in there and what we'll do, let's get that question. And then I want to go through some of the programs that we're going to offer for you and for our members.
Awesome. So my Instagram is funny because I do a combination of three different things. One is mindset, one is the food stuff, and then one is my training. So it's been an interesting journey, sort of coming from a bodybuilding background and not knowing any of the gymnastics moves. So about 3 months ago, I decided this is my year. Like, I'm going to finally get double unders and I'm going to finally get handstand push-ups. Like, I'm going to not focus so much on the Olympic lifting. Like, good enough. I can RX everything now. So now I can maybe stop working on it. Like, just to get to, like, there's so many things in the CrossFit bucket that I think
Yeah.
you have to kind of decide where your energy is going to go. I don't know. Okay. So, Jean, Rob, my problem is I have a big appetite. So I probably need to figure out what to eat to reduce some of the other stuff. Totally. I have a gigantic appetite. I have the hugest appetite ever. So therefore I buy a bag of romaine lettuce and I eat the whole thing. Like, because I just like to eat. If you look at my Instagram lately, I've been popping popcorn. Like, literally, I have an air popper and I pour the popcorn kernels in it and I eat this gigantic bowl of popcorn. People are like my family comes in and they're like, "Can I have some?" And I give them this much, but my portion is this big because I like to eat. I just like a lot of food. So, choosing that over choosing the kind with butter and anything else sort of on it, because then the butter would make the overall calorie load of the thing move some other stuff out of the way that I would rather eat. Like, I would rather spend my fat on chocolate or nuts, not on butter and my popcorn. Some people would spend it there. So I am with you. I have a big appetite. I just eat more of those light vegetables. So what other food is good to snack on? Carrot, cucumbers. What in my fridge? I should post pictures of my fridge on my Instagram. I do a lot in my stories more than on my other part, but I have teeny little things of cucumber. Once when we go to the grocery store, I take it back and I cut it up and I put it in single serving containers. I weigh 100 grams, but it's the 100 grams per, but you could do 1 cup. And it's literally, I have cut up cucumbers. And when you're hungry, you take a thing of cucumbers and hard boiled egg. I keep hard boiled eggs in the fridge and that's your snack. Or a red pepper. You can either cut it up and leave it in a thing in the fridge and eat a red pepper and a hard boiled egg. If you don't like hard boiled eggs, have a cheese stick. like a, low fat, whatever cheese stick. You could also, it's basically every time you eat, you choose a vegetable and a protein. And so if it's a meal, you get 2 cups of vegetables and a palm of protein. And if it's a snack, you get 1 cup of vegetables and a smaller portion of protein. And then the fats and the starches sort of modulate throughout. I go over a plate method. I don't know how much detail you want me to get in here, Brandon, but it is interesting, actually. Thank you. But vegetables, sugar snap peas. I'm thinking about all the things that I feed my kids when they come home, which is like super easy, like quick. When they want to grab food, I give them sugar snap peas, cut up peppers, cut up cucumbers, jicama. I buy it already cut at the store because we don't have a good source of it here. I grew up in San Diego, so I used to eat jicama whole. It was a lot easier to get some of the stuff there, but here we can't get it. Just stuff that's, well, what else is a great snack? If you're used to eating chips, to buy cut up romaine lettuce and have a bag of it, but you're eating lettuce out of a bag like people eat chips out of a bag. It's like a lot of food to snack on with a little bit of protein to slow the whole thing down. I keep a bowl of hard-boiled eggs in the refrigerator. My kids, I give them those turkey sticks. Sometimes they don't love them as much as I do. It's beef jerky basically, but like beef jerky is a protein. Find a low sugar one. Hard-boiled eggs, the low-fat cheese sticks. Good, Too Good, or I think Too Good is the brand. If you can digest yogurt well, they have a really nice little non-fat Greek yogurt that's mostly protein. A lot of the yogurts are kind of a minefield because they have so much sugar in them. Also, there's a cottage cheese that's nice. I forget the brand on that one. It's like a fermented, high probiotic cottage cheese. It might be Nancy's, but there might be another brand. I'll look for it at the store and post some pictures.
Awesome.
Hopefully I could obviously go on forever.
Yeah. So that brings me to another thing. We should do this more often. This could be kind of a fun thing to just sit and rap about, like just bounce questions.
Maybe we should do this for our monthly thing instead of me doing the seminar. We should just do a thing every month, and I'll just talk about the thing, and then you'll ask questions and people ask questions.
It's great. It's been a lot of fun. So we'll kind of wrap up with kind of the programs that we've set in place to kick it off. And as once we finish that up, I'm going to drop her calendar link, or she can drop her calendar link into the comments if you are interested in signing up and talking with her further. And then I'll also email this out again just so it doesn't get buried. But go ahead and kind of walk us through the programs that we set in place for our gym.
So I would love to talk to anybody for half an hour about if we'd be a good fit or if we sort of would mesh one-on-one. So your first conversation with me is just, let's have a conversation for half an hour. Let's spend some time on video chatting. And then after that, I've had success with people. I think a lot of this comes from habit change, and I've had success with people in their kitchens. Go to their house, but we would do it virtually, of course, and talk about what you see and what you grab and how your stuff is organized. Like I went to a girlfriend's house and she said, my kids are eating so much junk food, and I opened her cupboards, and at her children's eye level literally was all the junk food. So I said, let's move eye level foods. Let's put your nut packets down there. Let's put your like fruit roll-ups, like whatever you want them eating, put at eye level. Like on our counter, we have a bunch of fruit. So when you walk into my kitchen, you see fruit. You don't see the junk food. We used to keep all the bread on the breadboard. And when I started counting macros, I was like, I cannot stare at challah all day long. Like I can't stare at cinnamon bread and I can't stare at challah and not eat it. So we put it in the pantry. So now if my family, I'm not keeping them from eating those things. They have to open the pantry and it's just one step removed. So if you need some help reorganizing your eye level, your kids' eye level, I have all glass containers in my fridge at the level, like I make these salads and I always keep them at the very top because I know at lunchtime I'm going to reach up to the top and get it. But if my kids want a snack or my husband wants something, I don't need them reaching up there and getting it. They want to browse. So I want to make the stuff for them to browse at eye level in front. So, and also like sorting things out of your kitchen, like or like teach you like how to read a package. We should do that as a next month, actually, is how to read a package, how to read a label, like look in your kitchen and take all the additives out of everything. Like actually turn over the stuff in your kitchen. Like, I know it says yogurt, but that's artificial coloring, and that's sugar, and that's something else. Like that, it's junk food masquerading as health food. But this brand here is totally good for you. It has probiotics in it. It's high in protein. Like how to read the labels and how to make better choices. So that's another offering, is doing the kitchen thing. And then another offering would be to spend 3 months together, at least 3 months. It could be longer, ongoing. And there's an app that came from the Working Against Gravity coaching program that Brandon and I both have done. And it's called Seismic. And I coach you as you take a harder look at your nutrition. Can you explain it a little bit better than that?
No, I think that's great. So it's, to quick recap, we have an initial consult, which is 30 minutes. That's free to anybody to just kind of go over what you're looking at, the other options, and just, shoot the shit pretty much. Then you have a kitchen clean out. You also have, which I think you touched on a little bit, was just a longer post initial consultation, because some people don't necessarily may not need 3 months, or maybe they did 3 months and then they went on their own for 3 months and they're like, hey, I just need to brush up really quick on some stuff.
It's like the questions Shelly was asking. It's like the question Shelly was asking, basically, which is like pretty specific to her, but she doesn't necessarily maybe need me every week for 3 months. She just needs a little bit of fine tuning into what she's doing. Sorry, go ahead.
That's for the folks with commitment issues. And then the third one was a month-to-month coaching opportunity with you, with a minimum of 3 months. Right.
And it's weekly check-ins, and I give you a prescription. Yeah. And it's weekly check-ins. I give you a prescription. This is the meat of the program. This is where we like make change, make habits that fit, get you used to what your food is like and how it can affect your life, and to really like get in there and get to, so some of it also is like really emotionally based. And so it gets to be kind of an intimate position at times. Sometimes it's just giving you numbers, and then sometimes you're like, it's my birthday and my husband did this and my kids are doing this. And I mean, so sometimes we like have to dig in and say like, why do you feel like you need to eat the carrot cake they made for you? Or like, you do need to eat it because they made it for you. Like which side are you on this? Like, why does it matter? So it's kind of an interesting,
Sometimes you just have to eat the cookie, man.
Totally eat the cookie. You have to eat the cookie. So there's two more things here.
I was just saying, we have a couple folks in our gym that would definitely agree with you on that one, for sure. We've had that conversation.
That you have to eat the cookie.
What are the other couple things? Yeah.
I also, sometimes you have to eat the cookie, and sometimes you can only eat the cookies when you go to somebody's house. Like, I don't want the cookies in my house, but if I go to your house and you offer me a cookie, I'll have a cookie. But I don't need a dozen cookies in my house. Like, so where's your hard cookies? If I have a dozen cookies in my house, I'm going to eat 12 of them.
And to counter that, sometimes you don't need to eat the effing cookie. You know what I mean?
Totally. Or you can have one bite, think how fabulous it is, and think, I don't need this. Or you think, I don't need this, I'm cutting right now, I'm okay. You can have that cookie. I don't need it. If there's nothing special about it. I mean, there's a lot, and a lot of it is like from our youth. A lot of it is packed in. Okay, so the couple other things, Jean says this is a great idea. Just because you work out hard does not mean you're healthy. And I totally 1000% agree with you. People in the gym sometimes are like, you're so strong. And I'm like, I watch my diet. Like, they're like, they like make a comment. They're like, you're doing great. I'm like, yeah, I've been eating. I've been watching my diet. They're not like, it's not like you're adding like extra lifting. It's like I've been watching what goes in my mouth. So I agree. She also says it would be a great idea if you did these weekly talks and also show a recipe for the week.
You're being asked of. Let's do it.
Yeah. So we're every month we're going to have a theme. And with that theme, I did the one for this month already, and there's a bunch of recipes in it. So we're going to have a newsletter, and there's a bunch of recipes in the bottom. And we can talk about them as time passes. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So some other things, y'all, that y'all see from her is some just frequent content, both on our page and in the group, kind of a monthly overview or newsletter, if you want to call it that, on the kind of happenings, the goal and the focus for the month. We're going to have a page on our website that's dedicated to nutrition. So if you ever have a question or need to schedule with her outside of like, I don't know where to go, you can always go to our website and you'll be able to find that information there to set up a session or whatever. And then you can always drop a question or something in the Facebook group that we can try to figure out as well. So I guess pretty much in summary, as you can tell by some of the folks commenting and the conversation between us, we're kind of excited about this. So what I would ask, if you have it handy, drop your 30-minute calendar link. Actually, I can do it too. Drop that calendar link in the comments. I'm going to send it out to everybody as well. And guys, if y'all are interested in talking with Nikki further, I suggest you take her up on that 30 minutes. Costs you nothing but your time to see what she can do for you.
Here it is. Yeah, it's awesome. There's my scheduling link.
Cool. Is there any other questions that floated through?
I don't see any new ones. I just put the scheduling link at the bottom and I put my Instagram handle in the middle.
Awesome. Well, cool. I'm glad we got to take a few minutes to do this. We'll wrap it up, and you and I will meet again to discuss some other stuff and let people marinate on that. And guys, again, take her up on the 30 minutes. I think it'll be beneficial. So Nikki, I want to thank you for joining us and welcome you to our awesome community of people in our gym. I know that there's a lot of us that are looking forward to this and seeing how the coming months go with what you have in store for everybody. It's going to be awesome.
This is going to be great. Thank you guys for listening, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah. I hope you have a good rest of your afternoon. What is it, 2:48 there? Yeah, you're lucky. You got more of the day left.
It is. I have 12 minutes, and then my kids come through the door.
Boom. Well, so enjoy your 12 minutes of free time.
There it is.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Exactly.
Bye.
Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.